Michael is 41 years old. He checked his retirement account last month and realized something that made his stomach drop. His total retirement savings after nearly 2 decades of working full-time is $21,000. Michael started working at 23. That means he has been in the workforce for 18 years. 18 years of work and only $21,000 saved for retirement. At first, he tried not to think about it, but then one night, he typed a simple question into Google. How much should I have saved for retirement at 40? The answers were terrifying. Most financial websites said that by age 40, you should have about 3 times your annual salary saved. Michael earns around $68,000 a year. 3 times, that would be about $200,000. Michael has $21,000. He is not slightly behind. He is catastrophically behind. So he did what most people do when panic starts to set in. He scheduled a meeting with a financial advisor. The advisor looked at Michael's numbers and smiled reassuringly. You're still young, the advisor said. You have time to catch up. Michael wanted to believe that. The advisor showed him a projection. If Michael starts contributing aggressively to his retirement account starting today, if he saves around $20,000 per year, if the market averages about 7% annual returns, and if he continues doing this until age 65, then he could end up with around $850,000. The advisor called that a solid retirement balance. Michael felt relief wash over him. Maybe everything was fine. Maybe he was just worrying too much. But later that night, something bothered him. He opened his laptop again and started doing his own calculations. And that's when the optimism started to crumble, because $850,000 sounds like a huge number until you understand what it actually means. There is a common retirement guideline called the 4% rule. It suggests that retirees can safely withdraw about 4% of their savings each year without running out of money too quickly. 4% of $850,000 is $34,000 per year. Michael currently earns $68,000. That means he would retire on roughly half of his current income. And that's assuming everything goes perfectly. But there is a bigger problem. Michael cannot realistically save $20,000 per year. After taxes, his take-home pay is about $48,000. Saving $20,000 would mean living on $28,000 a year. He has rent, a car payment, groceries, insurance, helping his parents occasionally. Living on $28,000 is not realistic. The most he believes he can save is about $10,000 per year. So he ran the numbers again. Saving $10,000 annually for 24 years at 7% returns would give him roughly $480,000 by age 65. Using the 4% rule, that produces about $19,000 per year. After more than 40 years of working, Michael would retire with less than $20,000 a year. That is barely above the poverty threshold in many places. And suddenly the advisor's reassuring smile started to feel misleading. The uncomfortable truth about late retirement saving is something the financial industry rarely explains clearly. The real power in investing isn't just how much you save, it's how long your money compounds. Time is the most powerful ingredient. When someone starts investing at 25 and contributes $8,000 per year for 40 years, they invest $320,000 total. At 7% returns, that grows to nearly $1.6 million. More than $1 million of that growth comes from compounding, not contributions. Compounding. But when someone starts at 40, the timeline changes dramatically. Instead of 40 years of growth, they only have around 25. And exponential growth doesn't work well with short timelines. Michael realized something brutal. The missing years cannot be replaced. You cannot compress 40 years of compounding into 20. The math simply doesn't allow it. To reach $1.2 million by age 65, Michael would need to invest roughly $28,000 per year. That's more than half of his take-home pay, which means catching up would require living at near poverty levels for decades. And even if he managed to do that, the result would still only be a modest retirement. This is the uncomfortable reality many late savers eventually face. The system quietly assumes that people begin saving early, but life rarely works that way. In your 20s, you're building a career, paying off student loans, trying to survive rising living costs. Retirement feels like a distant concept. Then your 30s arrive. You start a family, you buy a home, expenses explode. Retirement saving often gets pushed aside again. Then suddenly you're 40, and the clock is no longer on your side. What many people don't realize is that retirement planning changes drastically depending on when you start. For someone starting at 25, retiring at 65 is very achievable. For someone Anyone starting at 40 with minimal savings, it becomes extremely difficult. Not impossible, but extremely difficult. Michael eventually reached a different conclusion. Instead of trying to perform financial miracles in 24 years, he adjusted the timeline. What if retirement didn't happen at 65? What if it happened at 72 or 75 instead? That extra decade changes the math dramatically. 10 more years of contributions, 10 more years of compounding, 10 fewer years drawing down savings. Suddenly the numbers start to make sense again. If Michael saves $10,000 per year from age 41 to 75, that's 34 years of investing. At 7% returns, that could grow to around $1.3 million. At a 4% withdrawal rate, that produces about $52,000 per year. Add Social Security benefits on top of that, and his retirement income could actually match or exceed his current lifestyle. The extra working years become the difference between financial struggle and financial stability, and that realization changed how Michael viewed retirement entirely. The real problem wasn't that he started saving late. The problem was believing that retirement had to happen at a fixed age. Age 65 is not a universal law. It was created decades ago in a completely different economic world. Today people live longer, healthcare is expensive, and traditional pensions are disappearing. The retirement timeline has quietly shifted, but many people are still planning according to outdated expectations. For late starters like Michael, the solution is not financial perfection. It's realistic planning. Save consistently, invest wisely, delay retirement slightly if needed, and most importantly, stop believing that one missed decade automatically guarantees failure. The real danger isn't starting late. The real danger is pretending the math will magically fix itself, because in personal finance, reality always wins over optimism.